this is Miss Shannon coming to you from the Prescott Valley Public Library with another story time. Now before we start, as always, I have to thank the publishers, illustrators, and authors of the books I'm going to use because they have waived copyright law so that I can read these online. So thank you very much to them. We have a funny story time today. It is about Sasquatch, Bigfoot, and Yeti. And we're going to talk about them if you haven't heard about them before. And we're going to read some hilarious books. But of course, we always start with dinosaurs and cars. So are you ready? Are you loose? All right, let me see 5. We're going to start with 5 dinosaurs. Here we go. Well, there were 5 dinosaurs driving in cars, having a really good time. They said, step on the gas and we'll go really fast. And they did until one got a flat tire. Ka-chunk, 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 ka-chunk. Psh. Andy said, go on without me. Okay, how many do we have? Tuck in that thumb. We have 4 now. Well, there were 4 dinosaurs driving in cars, having a really good time. They said, step on the gas and we'll go really fast. And they did until one got a flat tire. Ka-chunk, 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 ka-chunk. Psh. And she said, go on without me. Then there were 3 dinosaurs driving in cars, having a really good time. They said, step on the gas and we'll go really fast. And they did until one got a flat tire. Ka-chunk, 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 ka-chunk. Psh. Andy said, go on without me. Then there were 2 dinosaurs driving in cars, having a really good time. They said, step on the gas and we'll go really fast. And they did until one got a flat tire. Ka-chunk, 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 ka-chunk. Psh. And she said, go on without me. Then there was 1 dinosaur driving in a car, having a really good time. They said, step on the gas and I'll go really fast. And he did until he got a flat tire. Ka-chunk, 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 ka-chunk. Psh. And he said, I know what I'll do. I'll change the tire. So we jacked up the car, psh, 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 and he took off the flat. Remember, it's really heavy. And he put on the spare. And he jacked down the car. Psh, 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 and he said, I'll go pick up my friends. Then there were 5 dinosaurs driving in a car, having a really good time. They said, step on the gas and we'll go really fast. And they did, and down the road they went flying. Yay! Good job, you guys. We're going to start by talking about Yeti. Now, Yeti is a big white creature. It lives really, really far away across the ocean and up some mountains called the Himalayan mountains. Now, some people think that Yeti are real. Some people don't think Yeti are real, and we don't know. But they are white because they need to blend in with the snow on the mountains. So let's read a story, okay? This one is called Yeti, Turn Out the Light. And it is by Greg Long and Chris Edmondson. And the illustrations, which are very funny, are by Wednesday Kerwin. Now, you will see in this book that the forest is not white. See, it's because I think it's springtime, and that's why there's no snow, but our Yeti is still white. Okay, here we go. From deep in the forest, there comes a loud yawn. It's Yeti. He's sleepy, for the day's nearly done. So Yeti heads home, eats his dinner, and flosses. Then he snuggles into bed, but he turns and he tosses. Why, you may ask? Well, I'll tell you, my dear. Yeti sees shadows dart frightfully near. Oh my gosh, what could that monster be? They dance up the wall, and my, are they scary. Oh, what could they be? Yeti is wary. On the light goes, and to Yeti's surprise, he sees only bunnies and their big bunny eyes. That's so silly. Back in the bed with the bunnies, Yeti feels sleepy. Then he sits up and shouts, "What's that shadow? That's creepy!" Now, do you think it's a monster? Let's see. On the light goes, but there's nothing to fear. It's just 3 little birds on top of a deer. So no monster. Yeti is flustered. He needs milk to calm down. But when he reaches the kitchen, he hears a strange sound. Oh no, look at that. Does it look like Frankenstein with the bolt in his neck? Oh no! On the light goes. Oh, what could it be? Why, it's just Bear and Owl, and they're drinking some tea. Goodness. Yeti tries to sleep with bunnies, birds, deer, bear, and owl, but he soon sees a shadow so frightfully foul. Look at that one, the biggest monster of all. What do you think? On the light goes. All the animals scatter, but Yeti just laughs, for there's nothing the matter. The shadow is just us, Yeti says with a sigh. It's time to go home, friends. Sweet dreams and goodbye. With a bed to himself and the dark all around, the zzz Yeti yearned for are finally found. He's sound asleep in the forest. Sometimes shadows can be scary, can't they? But in this one, there were no real monsters. They were just silly animals who were coming to visit in the middle of the night, which is kind of weird. We are going to do a song called 5 Little Yetis. I have my paper here so I don't forget words, because this is a new one for me, okay? Now, just like dinosaurs and cars, let me see 5. Okay, here we go. 5 little Yetis playing in the snow. One got hit by a snowball, and he began to roll. He rolled down the hill and landed like spaghetti. Now, out in the snow are how many Yetis? We had 5, but 1 rolled down the hill, so now we have 4. Okay. 4 little Yetis playing in the snow. One got hit by a snowball, and she began to roll. She rolled down the hill and landed like spaghetti. Now, out in the snow are how many Yetis? Okay, we had 4. Tuck one in. 3 little Yetis playing in the snow. One got hit by a snowball, and he began to roll. He rolled down the hill and landed like spaghetti. Now, playing in the snow are how many Yeti? Okay, we had 3. Let's tuck one more down. Now we have 2. 2 little Yeti playing in the snow. One got hit by a snowball, and he began to roll. He rolled down the hill and landed like spaghetti. Now, playing in the snow are how many Yeti? Okay, we had 2. 1. One little Yeti playing in the snow. She got hit by a snowball and then began to roll. She rolled down the hill and landed like spaghetti. Now playing in the snow are how many Yeti? We had 1, so how many? None. Once they all got up from landing at the bottom of the hill, they went inside and had hot chocolate to warm up. Yep, that was a good job, you guys. Okay, now we are going to talk about Sasquatch. We talked about Yeti living very far away, across the ocean and up in the mountains, and they're white. Now Sasquatch live a little bit nearer. They live in the north of our country and a little bit in Canada. Grown-ups, if you have a map or an atlas, you can show your kids where that is. Now Sasquatch is a little different. Sasquatch are brown because they need to blend in with the forest. Okay, so they're brown. Now just like the Yeti, some people think the Sasquatch are real and some people think they aren't. We don't know because we don't have any real pictures. Now this is the book I'm gonna read to you called Don't Squish the Sasquatch by Kent Redeker and Bob Stack. Now, Sasquatch are not green. I just told you they're brown. And Sasquatch live in the woods, not the city. And they don't ride buses. But this book is so funny, I had to read it to you anyway. Here you can see Mr. Sasquatch sitting on the bench waiting for the bus. Hello, Mr. Blobule. This is Mr. Blobule. May I please ride your bus? Of course you may ride my bus, Senor Sasquatch. I hope it doesn't get too crowded. I do not like to get squished. Okay. Don't squish the Sasquatch. Hello, Mr. Blobule. May I please ride your bus? Of course you may ride my bus, Miss Elephant Shark. My goodness, Elephant Shark. But please, don't squish the Sasquatch. Hello, Mr. Blobule. May I please ride your bus? Of course you may ride my bus, Mr. Octo-Rhino. An octopus and a rhino together, that's so silly. But please, don't squish the Sasquatch. Uh-oh, look how crowded it's getting back there. Hello, Mr. Blobule. May I please ride your bus? Of course you may ride my bus, Miss... Ooh, now who do we have here? Look at the bottom and the top. And then look at this part. Miss Goat Whale. Oh my goodness. But please, don't squish the Sasquatch. Oh no, look at poor Senor Sasquatch. Oh no, look, his hat flew off. Oh dear. Hello, Mr. Blobule. May I please ride your bus? Of course you may ride my bus, Miss, this is a tricky one, Loch Ness Monster Alien. What? Loch Ness Monster Alien? That's crazy. But please, don't squish the Sasquatch. Oh, you guys, it is not looking good. No, it is not. Uh-oh. Look at this. Kablooey! Oh man, look at that. They all exploded. Oh no, we squished the Sasquatch. What do you think happens when you squish the Sasquatch? What should we do? Oh no, look at him there, all squished. There's only one thing to do. We must smooch the Sasquatch. 1, trumpet trunked, fishy finned elephant shark smooch. One slobby blobby bus driving blobule smooch. One puckered suckered knobby nosed octo rhino smooch. One supernatural intergalactic Loch Ness monster space alien smooch. And one blue bleating big blubbery goat whale smooch. Now, he doesn't like to be squished. Do you think he likes to be smooched? Ah! I do not like to be squished, but I do love to be smooched. Oh, Senior Sasquatch. Group hug. And that is the end. Isn't that silly? That's why I had to read it, even though he's green and living in this city. That was some good listening, you guys. Now, we're going to do a rhyme that I think you are used to being called teddy bear, turn around. Except we are going to do Sasquatch, Sasquatch, turn around. Now, don't forget, Sasquatch have fur, brown fur all over them. So when we comb our hair, you don't have to just comb your head. You can comb anywhere. Okay, ready? Here we go. Sasquatch, Sasquatch, turn around. Sasquatch, Sasquatch, touch the ground. Sasquatch, Sasquatch, go upstairs. Sasquatch, Sasquatch, comb your hair. Sasquatch, Sasquatch, turn out the light. Sasquatch, Sasquatch, say good night. Should we do it one more time? Okay, here we go. Sasquatch, Sasquatch, turn around. Sasquatch, Sasquatch, touch the ground. Sasquatch, Sasquatch, go upstairs. Sasquatch, Sasquatch, brush your hair. Sasquatch, Sasquatch, turn out the light. Sasquatch, Sasquatch, say good night. Let me hear a huge snore. You ready? Good job, everybody. Our last creature is Bigfoot. Now, Bigfoot is very similar to Sasquatch. Big and brown fur, but Bigfoot lives in different places. Bigfoot lives in California and Florida. Isn't that weird? And just like I told you, some people think Bigfoot is real, some people don't. Who knows? People say they've seen Bigfoot, but we don't have any pictures. This is a silly story. You're gonna like it. It is called Bigfoot Cinderella by Tony Johnston and James Warhola. All right. See, there he is, brown, in the forest. Once upon a time, in the old growth forest, a band of Bigfoots lived. An enormous snag towered over the other trees close to their camp, and inside its hollow halls of bark lived a dashing Bigfoot prince. He was tall and dark as a Douglas fir, with feet like cedar stumps. He was as odoriferous, P-U, as his tree home was coniferous, and so handsomely hairy that Bigfoot women near and far longed to marry him. Now, whenever they saw him lurching along, they blocked his path like deadfalls. They draped wildflowers around themselves. They batted their matted eyelashes to stun him into love. But the prince loved nature best. "No pick flowers!" he yelled at them in a voice as rough as bark. Now, In this place, there lived a Bigfoot woman and her 3 daughters. Well, really, only 2 were hers. The third was a stepchild. Here are her daughters, there's the stepchild. The daughters were puny things with dinky feet, almost furless as Bigfoots go, and as sour as little green berries. They spent their days bathing and picking their teeth with fish bones and sleeking their fur with pine cones. For fun, they threw rocks at spotted owls. That is so terrible and mean. The stepdaughter was just the opposite, nearly as woolly as a mammoth, golden as a banana slug, and with feet like log canoes. She loved nature and would harm no creature. Her stepsisters despised her and they made her work. Although her name was Ella, they roared at her so much that everyone called her Rella. Rella, fix fire. Rella, catch fish. They forced her to comb her fur and stick wildflowers in it. If she tugged them out, they put in twice as many. In spite of this primping, Rella was sooty from the fire and stinking with fish, so they teased her like stinging mosquitoes. You beast! They laughed and held their noses. You positive reek! You absolute freak! Oh, that is not nice to call names. Then they bathed her a lot in the creek. Eek! Now one morning, Rella went to the river to get supper. She fished all day and tossed her catch onto the bank in a silvery pile. Suddenly, a grizzly bear appeared. He seemed hungry. Rella was bigger than the bear, so she could have shooed him away, but she was too kind. She let him have the fish. When she shambled home empty-handed, her stepsisters rubbed their bellies and bellowed, "Food, food, food!" They forced her to fish all night. Now, every year the Bigfoot Prince gave a great fun fest. There were gifts and food and games like Jump the Fire, Bear Cave Hide and Seek, and Hurl the Hemlock. But log rolling was the favorite. Do you know log rolling is a real sport? This year, whichever woman rolled the prince off a log and into the river would become his wife. Rella's puny sisters hoped to dunk the prince. When me snag putrid furball prince, me rule whole tree place, yelled the older one. Me pick all the flower, the younger one grinned, and they bellowed together, power, power, power. So they smoothed their pitiful fur, then spruced up the wildflowers, and wearing fine bark clogs to grip the log, they clomped to the festival. Me go too? Rella hollered after them. She adored to sweat and win at games. Her sisters hooted so hard they fell down. You stay! Catch plenty fish. We catch prince. How Rella longed to go. Sadly, she stared at the river. She saw a fish jump. She made a wish on the fish. Me wish go fun fest. Me wish dunk prince. Heartfelt wishes true wish, growled a gruff voice. And so you go. Rella spun around. She was staring at a bear, the very one she had given fish. Who you? She said. Me, your berry godfather. Rella was overjoyed, then underjoyed. She mumbled, me got no bark clogs to keep on log. Feet's too big. No be bug brain, snorted her godfather. He swiped the air with a paw, and instantly an enormous pair of clogs appeared. Rella tried them on. They fit perfectly. Then the grizzly waved a paw over her and poof! The wildflowers she wore were dust. He patted and matted her fur, and it tangled like the very forest floor. She boomed, "Thanks!" and gave him a crunching hug. "Be back sundown," he warned, "or you will be like sisters make you, no furry and smelly, but plenty flowery." Rilla wasn't worried. She had lots of time. She skipped off, shaking the whole forest as she went. At the Fun Fest, there were Bigfoot women from every clan. Oh my gosh, look how many. The games had begun. One by one, the women leaped onto a log where the prince crouched ready. One by one, he dunked them in the water. Look, there he is, rolling his log. Rella's stepsisters hated games, but to catch the prince, they'd do anything, even give logs a twirl. And they hoped a good drenching might even wash off his stench. But they never got the chance. When their turn came, the prince saw their wildflower chains and glowered. He tossed them in the water, snarling, "No pick flowers!" The day grew late. Everyone had tried to win. Everyone had failed. The Bigfoot prince rumbled, "Rats, no bride!" He was about to slouch home when, thunk! Rilla bounded onto the log, pounding her chest and whooping, "Me dunk prince!" Grunting with all her might, she spun that log like a big twig. Then she gave it a twist and floop, the prince flipped into the water. There was a stunned silence. The Bigfoots were slow-witted, so it took them a while to figure out what happened. When at last they began to chant, "Bride, bride, bride!" The sun was setting. Do you remember what the Berry Godfather said? Rilla saw that and rushed into the dense trees, shrieking, "Eek!" just as her matted fur went sleek and wild flowers began to sprout. The prince lurched from the water, dripping and crushed. His dream woman, shaggy as the forest floor, smelly as a fish, and strong, was gone. Scratching his craggy head, he slumped down on a boulder. Drat! 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 He gnashed his mossy teeth. Where did my stinking beauty go? Then he saw one big bark clog. There it is. Hers! Now perhaps he could find his princess. The prince shuffled from snag to snag, cave to cave, lugging the lost clog. But though all the Bigfoot women tried it on, it was too large for anyone. The moment he reached Rella's cave, her stepmother and stepsisters pounced on the prince, wrestled the clog from him, and jumped into it eagerly. But their feet were so small, they all fitted at once. Then Rella bounded up yelling, "Me try! Me try! Me! She did, and her foot fit the clog like a seed in a pod. When she pulled out its mate, the Bigfoot prince knew he'd found his bride. He thumped his chest and roared with joy. The stepsisters roared too. In tantrums, they yanked up some wildflowers and saplings, and their mother kicked the prince black and blue. We don't kick unless it's a ball like a soccer ball. Now soon there was a rowdy wedding in the old-growth forest. Everyone was invited. Even Rella's stepmother and stepsisters could come if they followed these rules carefully. No pick flower, no pull tree, no kick royal family. You guys, that was a really long book. You listened so well. Now, before we do the Tootie-Ta, there are a couple other books I want to show you. I had such a hard time choosing books for this story time. So, if you recall, we read Yeti, Turn Out the Light. But I almost read Dear Yeti by James Kwan. It was very funny too. So maybe you could get that from the library if you want another Yeti book. Okay, when it came to Sasquatch, you remember I read Don't Squish the Sasquatch? But I almost read Larf by Ashley Spires. And you could see he's a Sasquatch too. And I really love him because he has a pet bunny. This great big huge Sasquatch has a little pet bunny. It's so cute. All right. Now, last thing before we Tootie-Ta, we're gonna start doing some really special story times with live animals. We're going to go to a place called Circle L Ranch, and we're gonna do a goat story time with real goats. And then a little bit later, a pig story time with real pot-bellied pigs, and a bunch more too. So keep an eye out for those, okay? All right, let's Tootie-Ta. Okay, gotta be loose, even looser than dinosaurs and cars. You ready? All right, here we go. A Tootie-Ta, a Tootie-Ta, a Tootie-Ta-Ta. I said a Tootie-Ta, a Tootie-Ta, a Tootie-Ta-Ta. Thumbs up. A Tootie-Ta, a Tootie-Ta, a Tootie-Ta-Ta. Keep the thumbs up. Elbows back. A Tootie-Ta, a Tootie-Ta, a Tootie-Ta-Ta. Feet apart. A Tootie-Ta, a Tootie-Ta, a Tootie-Ta-Ta. Knees together. A Tootie-Ta, a Tootie-Ta, a Tootie-Ta-Ta. Bottoms up. A Tootie-Ta, a Tootie-Ta, a Tootie-Ta-Ta. Tongue out. A pivot-pa, a pivot-pa, a pivot-pa-pa. Eyes closed. A pivot-pa, a pivot-pa, a pivot-pa-pa. Turn around. A pivot-pa, a pivot-pa, a pivot-pa-pa. I said a pivot-pa, a pivot-pa, a pivot-pa-pa. Did you do it? Good job, everyone. Again, this is Miss Shannon coming to you from the Prescott Valley Public Library. We'll see you at our next story time. Bye-bye.